Taking place after the events of Avengers Endgame, we see what has become of the Guardians of the Galaxy. The leader, Peter Quill, is still depressed with the loss of Gamora, while an alternate version of her is with a new group. Also, the others are building a new life for themselves on a planet. The plot really kicks into gear when the super being known as Adam Warlock seriously injures Rocket on orders of the vile being the High Evolutionary. Now, the Guardians, plus Gamora, must team up to save the life of their furry companion. This is indeed the final installment of this version of the Guardians, and each member is given a fitting conclusion. They've all come a long way, and not only have we the audience witnessed their arcs, but it also feels like we've come to be a part of the team as well. There's a moment near the end that is a prime example of this, but I won't spoil it. All the actors do a terrific job as usual, but the two who really shine are Bradley Cooper as Rocket and Chiwetel Ejiofor as the High Evolutionary. This really is a movie centered around Rocket, and he has one of the more depressing and heartbreaking backstories in all of the MCU. It should be clarified, it's not just Bradley Cooper's performance that I liked, as while it is good, the character of Rocket triumphs as a combined performance, with Sean Gunn voicing a younger past version, as well as providing the motion capture work, and Noah Raskin voicing an infant Rocket. So really what I'm getting at is that this is a character created exceptionally well by fantastic performers, and that's why it should be celebrated. Iwuji single-handedly plays the most monstrous villain the MCU has seen to date. By that I don't mean he's the best, or the coolest, or the strongest, or even the most powerful. What I mean he is the most despicable, the most loathsome, and the cruelest I feel we have seen. The audience witnesses, in sometimes hard-to-watch detail, what he did to Rocket in the past, and how he abused and mistreated him as well as the other creatures. This mistreatment of his animal creations is very similar to the famous story, The Island of Dr. Moreau, which you can tell James Gunn is paying homage to with this character. Speaking of, this leads to another compliment I have, which is the makeup. The makeup effects are always top-notch in these films, with characters like Gamora, Drax, Nebula, and background aliens, but with the creations of the High Evolutionary, we see a lot of unique and very impressive animal hybrid designs, from the imaginative to the grotesque. They all are a triumph of the imagination and creativity by the filmmakers. Now with that said, I have a few criticisms. I'm not the biggest music buff in the world, so keep that in mind when I say that the soundtrack selection didn't impress me that much this time around. It wasn't bad at all. It just didn't leave me humming any tunes when I came out or really left a big impression on me. If you were to ask me about my favorite soundtrack from the trilogy, in case you were curious, I'd go with Volume 2. Also, I think the film is a little bit too long. Maybe it was needed to conclude these stories, but I don't know. I feel as if some of the third act could have been at least trimmed down. I'm unsure what specifically, but the stuff on the High Evolutionary's planet did feel a little bit long, for me anyway. And as a comic fan, I must warn to other comic fans that the character of Adam Warlock might be a controversial depiction. Will Poulter does an excellent job as the newly born cosmic being, but he's not really the Adam Warlock I'm familiar with. I'm sure there will be time for him to grow and evolve, but as it is now, that was a tiny bit disappointing. And for all the parents taking their kids to this film, just a heads up, there is one F-bomb in the film. Since the movie is PG-13, they are technically allowed to do this, and while it was humorously placed, I think it might be debatable if it was needed, especially coming from Disney. Did I enjoy this film? That might be a no-brainer. I really did. I had some flaws, yes, but the positives are so good I think that they trump the negatives. We have a fleshed out hero brought to life by actors and visual effects people alike, one of the best MCU villains in a long time, a magnificent display of makeup effects, and a fitting end to this lovable group of heroes. I can easily recommend this at full price in the theater. So fly into the beautiful and forever movie theater and go see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Thanks, this is an O.M.M review. This is O.M.M, signing out.